Alright, so in this video we're going to keep on getting towards our goal. So what we've been working on so far, let's go ahead and take a peek. So we are working on this right here. We're going to be creating this UI and we are currently here. It doesn't look that similar, but don't be deceived, we're actually getting pretty close here. So right now we already have the search bar, we already have the main area for this horizontal scroll, and we also have the main area for the rest of the items that'll be in the vertical stack. So first thing on the agenda, let's go ahead and clean up this green area here. Let's make it look like this. So let's go ahead and say text field. Where we got text, we got the scroll view with an H stack. This is text. Let's go ahead and create let's say our ideal one of these. So let's create another one. I'm going to leave these all here for now. Okay. Just so we can get an idea of what it's going to look like as we have more and more items in here. Okay, and inside here I'm going to make it say Europe. We'll just go ahead and try to clean up the aesthetics of just this one. There must be some issue with how many we can put in here, so I'm going to go ahead and just get rid of maybe that many. So try again. We should see Europe. Okay, I'm going to get rid of we'll leave the entire green background for now, and I'll say Europe is going to have padding, let's just say standard padding. So that's how big Europe is now, okay? And the reason we have this extra space is because H stack is also padded, okay? So that sounds about right. So if you can see, there's padding on the H stack, and then there's also padding on the actual word. So I'm going to give Europe a new background color. We'll say background color, let's just say it's white. Let's give it a corner radius of 10. Now it's starting to look like that. Let's go ahead and change the font. Okay, and its font, we're going to do .system. We're going to say font size of 20, a weight of bold. I'm going to close that and just get rid of the rest of that initializer. Try again. There we go. And there we go. It's looking closer and closer. Maybe we'll just make this 15 for starters. Here we go. It's looking better. And what I'm going to do is we're going to introduce for each here. So up here, I'm going to create an array. We're going to call this list of country. It's going to be equal to all the different, or list of continents, so I should say. Okay. And we'll just do Europe. We're just going to do the ones that are on the screen here. So Europe, Asia, Africa, South America, and North America. Okay. And what we'll do is we'll scroll through those. So we will have, instead of just saying text Europe, let's go ahead and get rid of all these texts now, okay? And if you look, what we're left with is the following. It's just Europe up front. But what if instead of creating just one, what we'll do is we'll say for each, okay, and we'll put that inside of for each, so that we will say for each list of continents, we'll say for each 0 dot dot. If you were using the old UI kit and just standard Swift, you're used to a for loop. So this is a for loop where we'll be creating views. So for each list of continents dot count. So that means from 0 up to that number. So it's going to scroll through all of them. We'll say I in, and that's how we can access the closure. So now if you see what it did is we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now we have 5 of these. Okay. And if I will click play, what you'll see is that we can actually scroll through once it finishes loading. While that's working in the background, let's go ahead and say the text, instead of all of them saying Europe, they're going to say list of continents, item number I. Try again. We need to self because we're within a closure here. Look at that, Europe, Asia, Africa, and South America, okay? And notice that South America here was on one line. I actually kind of like that better than this two-line approach, so let's go ahead and leave it like that for now. And well, the reason we have this issue, so I can scroll through it, but you notice that we get this cutoff here. And that's because we have the padding on the actual, we have this padding on the H-stack. So what I want to do instead is I'll actually get rid of the padding on the H-stack, or I'll just leave the padding on the top and the bottom. So I'll say dot bottom 20, and I'll say dot top. It's 20. So let's see what that looks like. And there we go. That's looking a little better. Okay, and maybe the next thing we can do is just on either side of Europe, and it'll be the last one will be North America. So on either side of those, we'll just put a spacer. So say spacer dot width, sorry, dot frame. I'll say width of 20. There we go. That's better. So now we put a 20 wide spacer right there. That should be good. So now we got that space, and we'll put one after as well. Let's go ahead and we'll just make those maybe 20. Maybe even just 10. Now that's looking good. So we have that fully scrolling off to the side. We don't have that green padding that was annoying. So now that's exactly what we're hoping for. Let's get rid of this indicator, that little gray bar that comes in and out. So we'll just say scroll view. Say indicator, shows indicators false. Better. There we go. So now that green area is looking good, okay? What we want to do is we want to get this coloring in there. So what we'll actually do here is we're not going to make a list of continents. We're not going to make it just an array of strings. What we can do is we can, sorry, this was not in the previous tutorial, a little trial and error, but we're going to get rid of this. Okay, so now it looks like what you had before. So what we'll do is we'll create a new struct, okay, and this struct will say continents. It'll be called continents, so that's the type of struct. And we will have var name, that'll be a string, and we'll have color, and that'll be a color. Okay. So now what I'll do is I'll say list of continents is actually an array of continents. Continents. There we go. And instead of just doing it like that, we actually have to do continent. Has to be, we'll make that singular. Continent dot init, and we'll say the first one will be Europe, and we will let's go ahead and just pick some colors. So we'll make the first one color dot red. Okay, and we'll copy and paste that, so it's just easier for us to go ahead and just, we have 5 of those, so I'm going to get rid of this. Okay, and I'm going to make it say Asia, Africa, South America, North America. Okay, and I'll make this one say blue. I'll make this one say green. I'll make this one say yellow. I'll make this one say orange. Okay, and I'm gonna go back to this where we had it write the actual name of the continent. We'll just make it say continent again. Okay, sounds like a backward step, but it is definitely a forward step because now we're going to be able to implement the color here. Okay, and let's go back, make sure we can see the canvas again. Now if we hit resume, we should see the only difference we've made so far is that it's still just going to say continent over and over and over. But now we actually have a way to access these colors. So the next thing we can do is, if we go to the, I'm going to put this inside of the description. So this is a good way for us to loop through the items. Instead of looping through the indices of the item like we did here, instead of saying for each 0, ... less than, what instead we can do is we can say for each, and we can go through the actual list of items inside this list of contents. So I'm going to go to for each, and I'm going to say list of continents. Okay, and so now I can go through it. And if I want to go through it, I need to give it a unique. If each one of these needs each content needs to have its own unique ID. So I'm going to create a new var. Well, I'm going to make this of type identifiable, meaning that we can identify it when we scroll through it. First error I'm going to get is going to say we don't conform. You don't conform to the identifiable. So we need to add the protocol stubs, and we'll say that what that means is we just need to add a new variable called ID, and we will use the UUID. So that is a way to automatically generate those unique identifiers. So now, in here, what I can do is I can say for each list of contents, and we can go through them, and we'll add this right here. We'll add ID. And what that should do for us is it should allow us to scroll through this list of contents now. So everything still works, but now I can actually say we can refer to each item in this for each now with, we'll write continent or this continent. And that refers not just to the index of where we are in list of continents, but to the actual item at that index. So this continent, we'll say the text in here, we'll do that. We'll say this continent dot name. And there we go, good to go. And we can even say that the background, the color will be this continent dot color. Okay, get rid of both of that. So this continent dot color. And sure enough, now it adheres. It's actually using the colors that we specified. And I can zoom out, hit play. And it's exactly what we were looking for. So the colors are funky, but if you think about it, we're actually pretty close to this now. This section is almost done being developed. All right, we're going to call it a day for that video, and I'll see you in the next one.